Hey guys, we're going to practice our algebra today. This year in chemistry you're going to do lots and lots of math, and so to get your brain kind of going and working again, we're going to do all different types of algebra problems that you might run into this year. So if you're comfortable with this, just work through the page and do it. If at any point you're not sure or you're struggling a little bit, then you can come back and watch whatever you need to. So I'm just going to start with number 1. This is pretty much a very simple algebra problem. Your goal is to get x by itself. Right? We want to get rid of that 2.31. The way that we're going to do that is by dividing. We're going to divide both sides by 2.31. This cancels, so x equals, you just put this in your calculator, do 0.705 divided by 2.31. Your calculator is going to tell you 0.30519,480, something really long, and we're just going to take that and round that to the thousandths place. The thousandths is 3 over from the decimal, so that's here. Directly after that we have a 1, which means that we are not going to round it up. So we're going to leave it 0.305. And all the rest of, get back there. All the rest of the numbers that we chopped off are on the right-hand side of the decimal, so they're going to stay gone. Okay? Over here, when you have two fractions, the best bet is to cross multiply. So if I do 0.396 times x, that just becomes 0.396x equals. Then if I cross multiply in the other direction, use your calculator, do 85 times 1.06. That gives me 90.1. Now that looks exactly like our first question. We divide by the thing that's touching the x. So you divide both sides by the 3.96. X equals, put this in your calculator, 90.1 divided by 3.96. You're going to get another long number, 22.75252525, on and on and on. Then we just have to round. We're looking to go to the tenths place, which is right here. So I'm going to chop my number. I have a 5 directly after that, which means we're going to round up. So the 7 is going to become an 8. So we'll leave the 22 and make it 0.8. Alright, let's try another one. Over here we have a fraction on one of the sides but not the other. You guys are really good at cross multiplying, so the easiest thing to do is make there be a fraction on both sides, and you can do that by putting this over 1. Now you just cross multiply, which we're really good at. If I multiply 1 by x, I just get 1x, which is the same thing as x, equals, if I cross in the other direction, you're going to do 0.507 times 138. And my calculator says 69.966, and the 1 goes away because it doesn't really matter. And then we're going to round that to the tenths place, which is right here. So this one is a little bit tricky to round. There's a 6 directly after it, which means we have to round up, but this is a 9. So that can be kind of tricky to round, and so instead of a 9, let's think about that like a 699. Right? If I rounded 699 up, it would become 70.0. Okay? The 9 rounds up, which rounds the other 9 up, which rounds this 6 up to a 7. I want to stop at the tenths place, so I only want one thing left after the decimal, and these 6's drop away. Alright, again, same thing. We've got a fraction on one side but not on the other side, so we're going to make them both have a fraction. Put this over 1 and then you can cross multiply. So I multiply here, I get 10600x equals. Then I'm going to cross on the other side. I do 1 times the 8540, gives me that. And then we just need to divide by the thing that's touching the x. So divide by the 10,600. Divide by the thing touching the x. So put this in your calculator, this divided by that, and it's going to tell you 0.80566,037, on and on and on. We'll round to the thousandths place, which is here, the third one over. This 6 means that we need to round it up, so I'm going to keep the 0.80, but the 5 is going to round up to a 6. Alright, in this one we don't have any fractions, so we're not going to cross multiply, but we have some like terms that we can combine over here. So my first job is to take these two numbers and multiply them together. Okay, leave everything else alone for a minute and let's combine like terms. When I multiply those numbers together, I get 38.22853, and I still have the x on that side. Okay, now that we've got it, it looks a little bit more like our first question. We can just divide by the thing touching the x. So divide both sides by that. 22853. It cancels over. Oh, that was weird. It cancels over here. X equals, put this in your calculator, this numerator divided by that denominator, you're going to get 2.422274, on and on. We want the thousandths place, which is right here at this 2 in the middle. If I chop it, there's another 2 after it. That means that we're not going to round it up, we're going to leave it alone. So it's going to say 2.422. Everything after the decimal gets chopped off. Alright, over here, the first thing you want to take care of is this subtraction inside of the parentheses. So I'm going to leave everything else alone. I'm going to leave the x. Just do that subtraction first. So that minus that, and you get 42.06. Okay, now it's almost like the question that we did over here. We've got this number and this number, okay, but there's an x in the middle, so you might want to rewrite it so that the numbers are together. Then put the x. Then you can take these two numbers and combine like terms by multiplying them. When you multiply those two numbers together, you're going to get 175.97904, and we still have the x over there. And lastly, you're just going to solve for x by dividing by the thing that's touching the x. So divide by that big 175 number. 7904. Divide by that on both sides. Oh, I wrote it wrong. Sorry about that. 979. There we go. Otherwise, you will get a different answer. Okay. So over here, you're going to divide this numerator by this denominator. Your calculator is going to say x equals 17.66687, and we're going to round. The hundredths place is 2 after the decimal, so right here at the 6. The other 6 after it means that we need to round up. So keep the 17.6, and this one in the hundredths place is going to round up to a 7. So 16 or 17.67. Alright, next one, we have some addition, different than the ones that we've been doing. First job is to combine like terms. Okay, so the like terms that we can combine are these numbers right here. So your first job is just to add those. So I'm going to keep everything else on the other side. When I add them, I get 0.49329, and I still have the plus x. It's very important that you add the plus sign in. Some people want to write this. That is very, very different. So see the plus sign that's up here? You need to make sure to include that here. Don't forget to write that, or else it's going to mess up the next work that you do. Okay? In order to get x by itself here, some of you might remember the river, right? I want to move this number across the river. The opposite of addition is subtraction. So I'm going to minus that decimal on both sides. Okay, that goes away. We get x equals, subtract these two numbers, and you're going to get 0.42521. At the 10,000ths place is right here at this 2. So I'm going to keep everything at the beginning. This 1 afterwards means we are not going to round up. We are going to stay the same, and there's your answer. Alright, in this one, first thing we want to do is kind of group some things together. So I've got these two numbers that I can multiply together, so we'll do that first. When I plug that in my calculator and multiply them, I get, 53 equals. On the other side, I've got some numbers but they're separated, and I really would like it better if they were together. So some people find it easier to write the numbers like this so that they're close together and then move the x over there. Then it's easier to see, okay, I want to multiply those two numbers together. So I'm going to keep the 53 over here, multiply the 8.31 times 2.19, and you're going to get 18.1989 and keep my x there. Then it's easy to solve. Just divide by the thing that's touching the x on both sides. Cross that out. Put this numerator divided by this denominator. X equals, what's it equal? 2.9122633928. We are going to round at the tenths place. So the tenths place is just 1 after the decimal, right here at this 9. So I'm going to keep the 2 in the point. Because there's a 1 directly after it, you do not need to round up. You can stay the same at 2.9. Alright, doing good. Lots and lots of math. Let's try one with a little bit more. This time we have 3 numbers over here, so our first job is to combine those like terms. So leave this stuff on the left for a minute. Multiply all 3 of those numbers together. 106.017372, and then it becomes very easy. You just divide by the thing that's touching the x. Cross that out. X equals, put this numerator divided by that denominator. Just throw that right into your calculator, and it says 3.323428. We're going to round to the thousandths place, which is right here at this 3. So I'm going to keep the beginning 3.2. After that 3 I have a 4. 4 means you stay the same, so I'm going to keep the 3 that was there. The next one is very similar. I've got these numbers together. My first job is to combine those like terms, and I'm going to multiply them. When you do that, you're going to get 6534 by multiplying them, and on the other side keep this. Then your job is just to get the x by itself. Divide both sides. Divide by the thing that's touching the x. X equals, do this numerator divided by that denominator. And you're going to get 0.0929544. And then we just have to do our rounding. We're going to round at the tenths place, which is right here. Okay. Now notice the 9 that I have afterwards. That means I need to round up. So I'm going to keep the 0 in the point. When you round a 0 up, it becomes a 1. Everything else after the decimal goes away. Oops, too far. Alright, almost done. These last ones get a little bit tricky, so stick with me. You're doing good. This is lots and lots of math. Okay, so we're going to start this the same way as we did before. We've got these two numbers that we can multiply together, and we've got these two numbers to multiply together. So first just combine your like terms. So when I do these two and I multiply, I get 850.68, and I'm just going to leave that over x for a minute. I can't do anything else. Over here, when I multiply those numbers together, I get, oh, I don't know what that is. Just wanted that one. Okay, 21.29, and leave that over 201. Alright, so it's a little bit simpler. We're getting there. The next easiest thing to do is cross multiply. So if I cross in this direction, I get 2121.29 and x equals, if I cross in this direction, multiply those two numbers together, then you're going to get, oh, this is really long, 170,986.68. Whew. Now you just have to get x by itself, so all you need to do now is divide by the thing that's touching the x, which is this 21, 21, 29. Divide both sides by that. It cancels over here, so you get x equals. So divide this numerator by this denominator. When you do that, your calculator is going to say 80.6050463, and we're going to round to the tenths place. That is right here at this 6. So I'm going to keep the 80 in the point. The 0 afterwards means that we are going to leave the 6 and not round up. Alright, another big one with lots of fractions. So again, combine your like terms. First I would multiply those two numbers together. When you do that, you're going to get 5.883. Leave everything else. I'm going to keep the 417. Everything's already combined on the other side. And so now the next thing you're going to want to do is just like we did in number 11 is cross multiply. So when I multiply this, you're going to do 417 times the 830. When you do that, you get 346.11, and don't forget to put the x there. In the other direction, multiply these two numbers, and you get 1635.474. Whoops, 4. Alright, now you're set to solve. Divide by the thing that's touching the x. So divide by the 346.11. Crosses out over here. Put this in your calculator, that numerator divided by that denominator. X equals, what's that say? 4.72530,120, and we're going to round at the hundredths place, which is 2 after the decimal. So keep the 4 in the point and the 7. The 5 right there, though, means that we have to round that 2 up to a 3. Alright, 2 more, almost done. They're very similar to what we just did together. So your first job is to combine the like terms. I would multiply these two numbers together and multiply these two numbers together. So try that. Over here I get 28.8408. I'm going to leave the bottom for now. I can't do anything else with that. When I multiply over here, I get, 29. Oh, I wanted that to be red. Like that. Now it looks like a lot of the other problems we've done, and we can just cross multiply. So do 29 times the 303, and you get 8787. Cross in the other direction, x times that number just becomes 28.8408 with x. Divide by the thing that's touching the x. Cancels over here. Divide this numerator by this denominator. X equals, your calculator is going to say 304.6725472. We're going to round at the ones place, which is right here at my 4. Keep the 3 and the 0, but the 6 afterwards means that the 4 needs to round up to a 5. Oh, one more. Okay. So, in this one, the starting point is to combine these like terms. Leave everything else for a minute. When you multiply those two numbers together, you get 965.2 over the 287. Now you've got a nice fraction, and we're ready to do our cross multiplying that we're really good at. If I multiply this first, multiply the numbers 313 times 287, and I'm going to get 89831, and don't forget there's an x there, equals. In the other direction, you're going to multiply these two numbers together. That gives me, a really big number, 143,814.8, and now you just have to divide by the thing that's touching the x. So divide by this 89831. Cancels over here. X equals, divide this numerator by this denominator. And you're going to get 1.60094,844. Let's 2 4s at the end. We're only going to stop at the hundredths place though, which is right here, 2 after the decimal. Directly after it is a 0, so we're going to leave it and not round up. We're going to stop at 1.60. Alright, that's it. Now you've got a whole other page of practice for you to try on your own. Good luck!